Hello and welcome to Bronze Age Monsters, the show where we wade into the weirdest and wildest waters of the comic books of the 1970s. This season on B.A.M, we're covering the brief life of Atlas-Seaboard Comics, the publishing venture of Martin Goodman that some say was a middle finger to Marvel and Stan Lee. Revenge is a dish best served in 4 colors. I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners and viewers. Nice to have you here. We appreciate you. So this is one of our ventures into the Seaboard side of things. We've been doing mostly Atlas. Most of the output of this business venture was 4-color comic books, but we are indeed doing one of their magazines, which was called Seaboard Periodicals. And we were, as you can see here by Jacob's display, gifted beautiful copies of this black and white magazine from our Uber patron, Jackson T. Overstreet. Thank you, Jackson. Gotta tell you, this one's kind of hard to find. If we're showing the art here in the video version as we go along through some of these stories, and if that's something that you think you would like to check out, and you can't find it online, hit us up in the comments here on YouTube, or send us an email, bronzeagemonsters@gmail.com, or go to Blue Sky or Threads or Instagram and say, hey, I cannot find those Throwing Adventure stories. Can you hook me up? Because we can. And these are not on archive.org for some reason, which is a bummer. I've been talking a lot, Jacob. Sorry. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. No, I'm here too. I swear. Yes, I'm very excited to talk about thrilling adventure stories. You and I have talked about this as what we have heard was always a big highlight of the Atlas-Seaboard line. It's always people being like the Scorpion, thrilling adventure stories, and basically that's it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if you listen to the show at all, you know that Jacob and I love black and white comics art. We love stuff like that Warren put out, that Skywald put out. So some of our favorite stuff, I think, from this era is black and white comic stuff where they got around the code. It was aimed at a little older audiences, a little edgier, and there's just a different approach to art styles when you have no color. When you're working in blacks and whites, there's some washes and stuff like that. It gets a little more inventive, in my opinion, in many ways. I'm not throwing shade on 4-color comics by any means, but I tend to just kind of ooh and ah a little bit more at some of the black and white stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm in agreement, and this will be the 3rd Seaboard periodical that we are going to be talking about tonight. The first one was in our bonus, or our special bonus show for patrons we did at the start of this. We reviewed Gothic romances, and the one we did before this was Devilina, right? Yeah, Devilina.
Yeah, with Ben Potter. Yeah, and so that Gothic romances, we didn't do that as the part of the main season because it wasn't comics. It was a magazine of prose stories with some illustrations by amazing artists. But we thought that'd be kind of weird to throw that into a comics podcast, so we just did that for our Patreon backers. It's kind of the 0 episode. Mm-hmm. Jacob, do you remember in CDs, feeling like some dog legs are coming up this episode, I'm going to warn everybody right now. Do you remember in CDs a technology that you could do a pre-roll? I remember reading in like 2002 that there was this Marvin Gaye box set, I think, and there was a pre-roll hidden song. So if you put the CD1 in the player and you hit play on that, it says track 1. If you hold back the rewind button, it would go -1, -2, -3, -4, 343, and some hidden Marvin Gaye like demo or something was on there. And that blew my mind when I read that. I'd never even heard of that until like 2002. Are you familiar with these?
I mean, I have
pre-roll
read about
songs?
it. I have never experienced it IRL. So is it real?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Yes, I found one.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what it was. I did actually encounter one in the wild at some point after that, before CDs fully died. But yeah, I just think that's interesting because, most people know the post roll, the stupid hidden track, the 10 minutes of silence and then some cool song pops up at the end, which is, I did that on a thing. I'm sure most people that recorded something and released it on CD in the 90s did that thing. But yeah, anyway, Gothic Romances was a pre-roll to the season. So if you want to get that, and we are, that was something that was aimed at like 22-year-old nursing students or whatever, like it's romance stories to read while you're being a nanny somewhere or studying for tests in college. And we were kind of skeptical that we like it, but we loved it. So.
Yeah, no, it hit all the trope boxes that you and I love about Gothic romances.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great episode. So I'm very proud of that. And you did an amazing preamble on it, just on the history of Gothic romances, history of Gothic publishing. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Something I didn't know I loved as much as I do, apparently. So yeah, and then we did Devilina, which is just straight up black and white horror comics, which I really dug, both issues of that. And now we're here at Thrilling Adventure Stories. So I do want to say before we jump in, though, just news about the show in general. This is the middle of the episode. There's going to be 26 episodes of the season. Here, we're at the middle point here. What are you drinking there? Is that Coors Banquet?
So I have a Coors Banquet stubby, which I love because it is hot as fuck, as I'm sure it is everywhere. And then I have a nice big pour of some rye whiskey.
That's nice. That's a nice summer pairing.
It's a good summer pairing. How hot is it there? It's still in the 90s here.
It's low 90s. I went to a baseball game last night. It was 100 degrees. And it was not a pleasant experience until the fifth inning when it finally cooled down. But it's not as bad today. Mm-hmm. But I'm having Old Crow and blackberry citrus seltzer from Kroger.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, I love that blackberry citrus. That's a good one.
It's good, huh?
Yeah. I don't care. I will go to my grave. The Kroger flavored soda water is by far the greatest. It's the superior
better than
one.
Polar. Yep. Better than LaCroix.
Yep. All those taste like chemicals.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know some bad news, though, for people that enjoy my drinking stories. I've been drinking Old German 16-ounce pounders since this show started, basically. That has been my show drink. I sometimes would stray, but those were $6.99 for a six-pack of 16-ounces. Apparently the tariffs are hitting or something. It was $9.99.
Okay, so that's normal beer price now.
30% increase for shitty. It's like the shittiest beer you could get. Like
that was why I bought it. Beer you can get. Yes.
So I'm really mad at Kroger. I'm mad at the federal government, and I'm mad at America right now.
Well, yeah. If your beer costs more, we were told that wasn't going to happen, Matt.
Yeah,
that wasn't part of the deal.
All kinds of stories. And I'm sure that six-pack was brewed probably 3 years ago and has been sitting in a warehouse somewhere. So I feel there's a little opportunism happening here, a little gouging, but whatever. So that's why I'm having Old Crow. This is still $10 a fifth, by the way. Okay, we returned after some technical difficulties. My point being, beer prices are too high now, but my real point was that we are going to be taking a small break because it is our mid-season point, and I'm going on a 2-week vacation, and we don't want to try and do something crazy or preload a bunch of episodes or anything like that. So we're taking a little break here. So after this episode, we'll be back next month to talk about the humor magazine Vicky. And hopefully it's a knockoff of Archie. And I really hope that we can have my daughter and some of her theater friends act out some of the things kind of Power Record style. Some of them are interested in doing it. So we might just have Jacob and I talk about our relationship with humor comics, the kind of teen humor comics that have been popular since the 40s, and then have her theater friends kind of act out like one or two of the stories from Vicky as if it were like an episode of the Archie's cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And yeah, taking a little mid-season break is always all right. Yeah, you're going on a nice trip, so no, it'll be good. I mean, we could attempt to do the whole pre-taped talk show thing, which I think we should maybe try to attempt at some point.
Mr. Show reference, obligatory.
Mr. Show reference. There we go.
Gratuitous Mr. Show reference.
Gratuitous Mr. Show reference.
All right. So without further ado, we are diving into this thing.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking about Thrilling Adventure Stories #1. And I make this comment every time, but I'm going to do it again. Jacob, this was hit the stands in 1974, November 26th, specifically. So this was literally one of the first things they put out. I think it was like this, Grim Ghost, and something else were all in the stands the same week. So we weren't even in December yet. Crazy.
Yeah.
So this cover is by Ernie Colon, who did Grim Ghost. And I absolutely love it. It's a nice montage of all the characters and stories you're going to see in this magazine. I love the yellow border background. I love the exciting blue and red masthead logo thing. I don't so much love the... I know this is coming from magazines like this, just text First gut-ripping collector's edition. Savage tales of warfare, headhunters, and crime busting. Special photo feature. The films of Alistair MacLean and Doc Savage. It feels like it should be the SNL guy or whatever, like Don Pardo, right?
Yeah, it does sound like a Tom Pardo, bit. But yeah, I know it's a lot. Well, I don't mind it, but it's very as thrilling and adventurous as these stories are. The font and layout is very boring.
Yeah, very tax adjuster.
It is. And then, but you're right. The Ernie Colon illustration is great. It shows everything. I mean, it shows everything that's in the issue.
Even more.
But you get even more. You get a lot of different stuff. So you get everything you need. You got a sexy lady. You got a Khazar fighting a saber-toothed tiger.
That's Cro-Mag, sir.
Sorry, Cro-Mag. That's what I meant to say. And you got it all.
I love that there's some guy with a samurai sword and a severed head. That doesn't even make it in the issue. That doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. But it does. I mean, that does kind of. Well, no, it doesn't even make it in the second issue. That's not a part of the story.
Nope.
But there is one in the second issue.
Yep. It's flash forward.
So is that a weird? Who knows? Yep, it's great. It tells you everything you need to know. This cover.
But I don't want to be that guy. But actually, Jacob, does that occur in the issue?
You mean the samurai with the lopped head? No, that does not. So we're going to drink for that. I'm going to have some rye whiskey, half rye, half course banquet. That's a full drink.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
So, I love the Ernie Colon art on this cover. I love this whole montage of like this exciting, like you're getting all of this and more, apparently, but not really. And it's our first peek at Tiger Man, who gets spun off into his own book pretty soon here. We'll be covering that later in the season. But I do feel the colorist, maybe he originally looked like this, but I think by the time he gets his own four-color book, the flesh-colored parts of his arms and legs are actually blue spandex. So here he looks kind of like a sexy stripper wrestler character.
Yeah, but the mask also looks like those terrible like plastic Halloween masks too. And it also makes me think like, well, you know what? Tiger Man, maybe he worked better in black and white.
Yep. Wait, does Tiger Man wear a mask? We haven't got to him yet. We don't read ahead, folks. I thought he would actually physically transformed into something. We're going to find out how.
The actual Tiger Man, yes.
Okay.
In the comics, yes.
Okay.
We have Tiger Man here. Yeah.
Okay. So so let's just dive in. So
let's do it.
Yeah. So we're not going to cover everything here. Jacob and I each picked a story we'd like to spotlight and just kind of fly past the other ones real fast. So the first story is where we meet Tiger Man, and it's called Tiger Man and the Flesh Peddlers. And just going to show a couple pages here, a couple panels, but it starts off with our hero and his secret identity as a woman falls from a high rise and splats on the street. The Ernie Colon art is absolutely gorgeous. He's using zipatone or screen tone, whatever you call that, all throughout this, and it's beautiful. Like, we know him from, we saw him in Grim Ghost, but, we explored on that episode, our first regular episode of the season, folks. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the Grim Ghost one. But we looked at some of his Casper art and stuff like that. He's a magical cartoonist. And it was so cool seeing him draw this gorgeous, like, realistic style stuff, harder edge stuff, and it's harder edged.
Yeah, it's definitely harder edged. I mean, we're dealing with human trafficking, hard drugs, Like I say, on that first panel, on that first page, you have a woman who's thrown to her death that we're watching her fall. And it's called Tiger Man and the Flesh Peddlers. So it's the majority of it is just this kind of horrifying story about human trafficking.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's about the mill where the grist is the young girls who get on a bus in Kansas and get off the bus in New York City, and a guy walks up to him and says, "Hey, you look lonely. You need directions anywhere or whatever?" And they get into the grist of this mill, and where they go into prostitution rings. And this is a very real thing that happens. It's horrifying. And so this whole thing is about that. But we do get to see our introduction to Tiger Man. We didn't want to cover it because I really want to cover it in proper in his first full issue with Jason Feinstone. I believe is who our guest on that one. But I just want to kind of cover the fact that I like that they're doing magazine-y stuff. It's flesh peddling. It's sex trafficking. It's whatever. It's awful stuff. And he is hyper violent.
Yeah, he's super violent, which is great.
And we meet this cool cop character, and I just love like that Rovin was definitely, we talked in the first episode of the season 2, the early episodes, like Rovin wanted to push the envelope a bit. This is a magazine, so there's no code. So, I mean, there's like this stuff, and there's a cop who's just like, I'm showing this, like, I've got a real large hate for the man behind this thing, the one who runs this cesspool operation. Someday I just want to put a hole through his head, like it's beyond vigilante. Like, it's like Dirty Harry Taxi Driver level, like, of just darkness.
Yeah, but if like Dirty Harry was, because Tiger Man's a doctor.
Yes, he is, Dr. Lancaster Hill.
Yeah, because the guy that you were just talking about, he's just, he talks this whole thing, and then he's like, oh, sorry, Doc, you have to deal with your own stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just doing this. I'm laying all this out for you. But then, yeah, Dr. Lancaster is going to go and tear some fucking pimps' faces off. Which
he does handily. Tears a doorknob off of a door. A guy is starting to attack a woman, and Tiger Man comes in, like tears his throat out or something. He eventually threatens a dude and gets a lead on who the leader of the ring is. Goes out to his estate outside of the city. The guy has a compound. He makes short work of those dudes. He has a pool full of, is it piranhas or barracudas? Do you remember which one it is? A swimming
I thought it was
pool.
barracudas.
Yeah. And so Tiger Man confronts him. Again, the art's gorgeous about this whole thing. The dude ends up in the pool. You can see him here getting just turned into into chum. It is nasty. And then it says Tiger Man is, getting his own 4-color comic on sale January 21st. So they felt strongly about Tiger Man.
Yeah, they did. They went all in. So we'll see what their efforts turned out to be.
Yeah. So the story I chose from the ones we read, Jacob was smart and jumped on the Russ Heath story, so we're going to save that for last. But the other one that I really, really liked here that I thought was super amazing was The Sting of Death. And so this one has a story about John Albano, and it has art by Leo Summers. And I think we've seen Leo Summers this season. I think he did some spot illustrations for Gothic Romance, but we might have seen him somewhere else, like at Devilina. Do you remember?
I don't know. I think we may have seen him in Devilina. I was looking. I couldn't exactly see. But I think we had talked a little bit about him. I mean, the majority, if you look on GCD, he has like 20 credits in comics. The majority of his work was working for Ziff Davis doing pulp covers.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He became the art director for Ziff Davis, and did tons of covers and hundreds of illustrations, if not thousands of illustrations, for inside of these pulp books.
I'm fairly certain that I never had encountered Leo Summers before this season, and I'm really enjoying his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have a whole lot. His first comic foray was in 1967 with DC's Bomba the Jungle Boy.
Oh, wow.
He did issues 1 and 2, and then did nothing else color comics, really. Just did later in the 70s. He worked for Warren and Seaboard and did, but this was just a, I don't know. Was this slumming? If you're in the pulps doing like hard sci-fi stuff, and then he's like, fuck, I guess I'm gonna go and do. I don't know, but he does such a good job on this.
It doesn't feel
like the art on this is. It doesn't, but I mean, we know that Seaboard. I mean, I don't know, slumming, but you got paid a fuck ton of money, so I'm sure that him doing this issue probably got him paid a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine that since this is literally the first wave of stuff Atlas-Seaboard released, I would think that he was like, this is the page rate? Okay, I'm going to draw the shit out of this. And if this thing sticks around, this is going to be aces for me. So he probably...
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Not that he would ever do short shrift or whatever, but like, this is amazing stuff. And I can see that this could have taken off. Okay, so we're going to jump in.
Yeah, so you mentioned it was called The Sting of Death. And yeah, so we get this pretty... I'll read the narration because I really liked it. The time would one day come when airlines stop allowing lunatics to carry deadly wares aboard public transports. But this was not that time.
It's 2001, by the way.
For aboard this flight, a suicide-bent madman clasps a package to his side, a package filled with lethal explosives. And thus, several hours into the flight, a thundering blast, an ominous flash of orange flame, and everyone aboard the doomed flight soon felt the sting of death. It says at the bottom there, everyone save 6 people. They would live, but only to face the greater horrors that lie ahead. So the writing in this is top notch too. It's John Albano. You know, both you and I love him. He's a great, great writer. So
I just like, this is, I mean, Colon stuff was its own thing in Tiger Man there, but like this is where I, turn the page. This is like, okay, magazine, like settling into like, look at the clouds, like look at all the ink washes and the kind of halftone stuff like that. That's where I just feel like this is such a good format for this type of storytelling, right? I mean, if it was just 4 colors and just inks, it would just feel kind of light. This feels heavy and realer to me.
Yeah, well, it's almost a photorealistic thing in that second panel in a way. Like, and I love that, I was really paying attention to the art like you because I loved it. But if you look in the cloud, you can see bodies.
There's people.
There's people just like disintegrating and burning up. You can see figures in that. And it's really horrifying.
It is. My only critique of this entire page is I wish someone else had done the title of the story because this looks like a paperback collection of Ziggy strips.
Yeah. Oh, the font, yeah.
The bubble letters for the stamp.
Bubble letters.
It looks like some like junior high girl drew that in like gel pens like on her PG.
Yep. BFFs forever.
So that is the one disconnect for me. Other than that, this page, I was like locked in. And we'll get on to what I love on this so much. But the next page just kind of starts with more gorgeous art, but just showing that the plane is half destroyed. The remaining half just kind of collapses down into the African jungle. And only a handful of people survived this thing. This probably had 350 passengers. About 6 are still alive. They're collecting themselves here at the top. And at the bottom, we get to meet this group. And I love whenever there's a survival, be it Night of the Living Dead, anything where it's like survival drama, Lost, anything. Like you get these archetypes and it becomes this kind of like shorthand for talking about society and people and the way people interact and the way people treat people. Like Night of the Living Dead is very much about class, whatever. Like any zombie story is about the way people treat each other in society rather than, the threat is its own thing. The people are their own. That's the story. So we get this gorgeous thing at the bottom of the page here where you can see the people kind of collecting themselves and we meet them and you get these little pocket, just this story is so efficient. It's like 8 pages or something, right? 10 pages. Mm-hmm. It's so efficient. So it says all that live gratefully move to feel the firmness of the earth beneath their feet, seeking assurance that their escape from the nightmare is a reality. So we see a young girl like helping a guy who's like, got a wound on his head. He's like, my God, are we the only ones who? And then we see these fucking Charlton Heston looking dude. He had a gun in his fucking carry-on because it was 1975 and he's putting a clip into the gun. He's like, yep, they've all had it. I've checked. And then we see a guy, the guy's dressed like Ralph Furley in the background, like the loud plaid sports coat on, a young African-American guy, much like Dwayne Jones in Night of the Living Dead. And that guy's saying, 6 of us, with all the people that were aboard, we 6 are the only ones who escaped injury. And then there's a heavyset, wealthy dowager type that Groucho Marx would love to give the business to, saying, 5, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm alive, but not uninjured. I sprained my ankle rather severely. So, I mean, you get this perfect little picture, right? The young female is just, whatever, she's a young female girl. The other guy, we're going to meet him. He stutters and sputters in his first line of dialogue. So we know that he's smart or nervous or whatever. So he's worthless. We see this dude in the foreground loading a weapon. He's obviously the leader of the group. The fat guy with the loud jacket, that's just comedy shorthand for a fucking waste of skin. Young black guy seems to be healthy and able, willing to chip in. We don't know much about him yet. And then a lady who says rather severely. So we know that she went to finish in school. That's where they teach you how to finish.
Yes, she did. Yeah, great. But no, you're right. That lower panel, I mean, that's all you need. Yeah, the economical storytelling, setting up every single character exactly what they're going to be.
I love it.
One panel. I know, it's great, right? Yeah. So, okay. Next page. So we, and she immediately, she's just like, I'm a wealthy woman. If one of you gentlemen will assist me, and then, the nice fella, he's just like, no sweat, lady, I'll carry you on my back. And then, Charlton Heston guy's like, and slow us to a snail's pace? look, if you heroes want to get out of here alive, then, Furley is like, oh, what are you suggesting, mister? It's like, what, did we leave the poor lady behind? And so again, everyone is kind of just, exactly who they thought we were. And so obviously our leader, Eric, as we're going to find out his name is just like, no, we're leaving her behind. Like, she's going to slow us down. And then we meet the professor, which I also thought was love. Any castaways, any survivors need a professor. Yep. And he's there, and he's just like, I'd call that a cowardly idea, my good fellow. But he turns back, and I like that Eric just calls him Whiskers
because he has a goatee.
Because he has a goatee, because he's a professor. Look, he has his pipe. His pipe survived. That was probably in his pocket. And he's busted it out because he's talking, and he's going to start, pointing it. And so he's just like, and I like that he's immediately like tough, like, I don't see if we're in any danger, provided we keep our wits about us. And so he's feeling pretty cocky for a guy who's probably never been dropped in the jungle before.
He's studied Eric, the jungle, though.
He has studied that. He's read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. So isn't that enough?
That's a good one.
So then Eric has figured out, like, I got these knives. He took them from the dining area. So did he do that before they crashed?
I figured, like, when the people were collecting themselves and dusting themselves off, like, he just immediately like, where's the kitchenette? And it's like, okay,
see,
knives.
I figured that would be it, but I would love it if he would have done it before.
If he just preemptively got knives.
He's like, I don't have enough weapons on me. I got my gun, but just in case.
Oh my god.
So, but he was right, and so, but then I love that Whiskers is just like, he's like, I hear these knives. Whiskers is like, no, thank you. I don't believe in violence of any kind. And the next panel, the rotund gentleman gets a spear through the gullet. Ugh. So, yeah, I love this story already. Dude, it's moving along great.
It moves at such a clip. It's like you said, it's so lean. Like, there's stuff in here that it didn't age well by 1975, but it definitely hasn't aged well now as far as portrayals of peoples of Africa. But, let's put that aside and just say jungle adventures are a genre. Let's just own that those were ignorant, but they were what they were. So I tried to enjoy it on that level, right? The lens of like... Even though the fact that this was old-fashioned and creaky in 75. But still, just enjoying just the hard-boiled, like, no nonsense, no adverbs, God damn it, no. It's just like, we don't have time for adverbs.
But God, I mean, I'm not a scripter. I'm not really a writer, but I would figure that this is 7 pages.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it really? God dang.
So I would figure like this is so impressive to me that someone can tell an engaging story in 7 pages. Like, I think that has got to be so difficult.
An engaging story that at its end does have a philosophical core, a pearl at the center of it. You know what I mean? Like, it has a message too. It's not like important or resounding, but it's like, I have a position of philosophical standing, and it tells a super hardcore, lean, mean story. That's what I admired about it. Just going back, thank you for pointing out that he had the pipe. Missed that on my 2 read-throughs. That he had that in his coat pocket and pulled it out. And that, when he called him Whiskers, I knew he was a professor. It was confirmed later. It is. Mm-hmm. But, that's amazing. But I just wanted to point out to anyone who hasn't read this, that we did kind of skip over a funny joke. The young girl says, so we leave that poor lady here? And he's like, no, I'm suggesting we leave the rich lady here.
It's a good line.
That was so good.
And it's good. And I'm not disagreeing with Eric either. I'm just like, especially at this point in time in our collective history, I'm just like, you know what? Let's leave that rich lady behind.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah. And I love this exciting event that happens into this page. And I like to imagine that, like, as that guy spilled forward with his guts falling out of his shirt, like a bunch of used car business cards like fell out of his pocket. Does he look like he sells used cars?
Yep, and maybe Amway on the side. Yeah.
So I was 100% in by this point. Like he said, Eric already went and found steak knives from the kitchenette in the ruins of the fuselage of the plane, and one guy saying, "I don't believe in violence." Like he's standing in the jungle, like,
but then, bam. Yeah, super great.
And then we have our first death. So yes, this thing's moving at a clip that I'm loving. It's my page, right?
Yep.
All right. So immediately, they're beset by savages. I'm using air quotes here if you're just listening. So this is the part that doesn't age that well. This just idea of like, from the early 30s on through the 60s, we had some jungle adventures. By the mid 50s to early 60s, they were very low budget just programmers for 10-year-old boys on matinees. But, they still made these things, all the cliches, like jungle drums, all that shit, savages, ooh, ah, grass skirts, voodoo masks, like all this stuff is racist, ignorant, stupid. We're acknowledging that up front and just enjoying it on its face. So we're just telling the story as it is, not accepting its premise. So these savages jump out and Eric starts shooting them. On your toes, everybody. And then the Whisker says, the knife, give me the knife, damn you. So he immediately shits his pants, his Oxford trousers, and he wants that knife back that he just said, I don't do violence, sir. Eric's plugging these guys. Here, gentlemen. He just throws them back over his shoulder. Make good use of them. And then this guy says, my God, the filthy beggar is going to, as one of the tribesmen charges him. And then I can't really tell, Jacob, does he slit his throat as he's deflecting the spear?
I think, yes, even though it's a little difficult to tell. I got there eventually, but it looks like he just like kind of cut his chest up if you're just looking, but no, I think that's the action's a little creaky there. Yeah,
I feel like he like cut his carotid or something, like down in a downward swipe, and just like cut his whole chest, but like slit his artery or something. So that dude's dead. Plup. And then we get this great panel nestled between two actual panels with borders of Eric and Whiskers. Whiskers is crouching next to him like Robin the Boy Wonder. He's like, we've stopped them. They've turned tail. He's like, I feel rather nauseous because he just killed somebody as he's holding a bloody steak knife from a Trans Am flight or Trans America flight. And he's like, hey, do your throwing up later, Whiskers. We've got to split and fast. Those friendly agents aren't going to let us off that easy. So Eric's already over it. He's like, obviously these guys have friends. We need to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dick, but he knows what to do.
Yep. He's not wrong. The idea has merit.
He's not. Okay, so yeah. It says sometime later, and we're hearing the drums. Again, this is another trope that is all over these types of stories, but you hear the boom, boom. And then this is Eric saying, like drums, they're sending messages, tell the tribes of our presence. And I like that he says, I've hunted in Africa, but never in this cannibal territory.
Can I point something out, Jacob?
Yes.
This is my main beef with Atlas-Seaboard so far this season. I've never read a line of comics from any outfit that had this many errors. What's happening, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, those first three balloons are Whiskers. He's studied the jungle. He knows the habits and activities and culture of this tribe. That's why he's sputtering, sending messages to tell the others that's supposed to be Whiskers. And then Eric is supposed to say, I've hunted in Africa, but never in this cannibal territory or something, right? Am I crazy?
No, you're not. So Whiskers is those savages one. And then I think Eric says to tell other tribes of our presence. I bet you're right. I've hunted in Africa before. But no, you're right. I mean, it's a bad layout. It's clunky. They should have been able to find some way of putting the text so Eric has those two. I don't know. Yeah, it's not well done.
Well, I mean, the word balloon, it's not even attributed to him. Like, there's no tail going to Eric. So that's just bad.
No,
it's just
there's
bad.
not.
That's bad design.
Yeah, that's bad design 100%. And then also it's weird because if you're reading that and then you go down and the gal is like, cannibal territory, that's why he wanted us to travel from here fast. He's talking with the other man saying like, yeah, Eric has traveled just about anywhere. I think he's one of those soldiers of fortune you read about. So this is all just ridiculous to where you can't, every word balloon should kind of be in a slightly different position.
How do you think, I love going inside baseball. How do you think what is the order of these words? Because I did read that top left to right and then went down like they're having a side conversation, like listening to the leader and Whiskers and like cannibal territory. Like in my mind, it's almost like staging. You know what I mean? Like blocking. Like
no. Yeah, I can get that. Okay, so the bottom ones, is kind of the side conversation that's going on,
like stage whisper.
But again, it's like but you're kind of following. No, I know it's clunky.
It is clunky.
Yeah. But so moving on, we go, and I do like that the young man's like, oh, he's a real cool cat when the fire's lit. And and so we get the actual the old rich lady is like, of course she says harumph. She actually says harumph. Says he was simply protecting himself. That man is devoid of all human feeling. That says that same evening after making camp. And so then they're, Eric's there. He's going to get him some fruit. And he goes, so he goes by. He's like, well, shortly after, I guess I have enough now. Better be getting back. Blam, blam, blam. And he's like, damn, we got visitors again. He comes back. He's like, what gives, kid? And he's like, only a few of them this time, Eric, but they carried off the professor. And so, this is kind of just what happens on each page from here on out. It's just like something goes and then boop, someone's gone. They're like, oh no.
Yep.
So, So now Whiskers has been carried off.
I do, again, I'm acknowledging the racism, the stupidness, and the clunkiness of these old jungle movie tropes, but it's still an effective thing. Like when the drums stop, that's when like everyone's like, oh shit,
Yep.
It's lame, but it's an effective old trope that was hammered into Americans through decades of B movies.
Yep.
Yeah, I love too that he's literally carrying this rich lady on his back. He didn't ask for money, by the way, in case you didn't miss anything between panels. He just said, I'll carry you, even though Eric's like, yeah, dude, that's going to make us way more likely to get eaten alive by cannibals. But this young guy is like, no, it's fine. I got it. I love that he points out I didn't see one drop of sweat on him when those crazies were popping out at us. Like they're in the jungle. It's like 98% humidity and 102 degrees. And he doesn't even break a sweat.
No. I mean, well, he's again, we're leaning into the trope of the great white hunter,
right. Right. So, the kid has to get some action while Eric's off gathering fruit he's a provider also, as well as a protector. So he's like back to the kid. He's like, so they kidnapped Whiskers? What'll happen to him, Eric? Will they? Hey, don't sweat it. We're all expendable.
Damn.
Yeah, Eric has ice cold
super dark
blood in his veins. And the kid's like, yeah, I'm going after him. I can't just stand by. And, so he marches off. And then we cut to where Whiskers is. And he is strung up above a fire. He's had strips of meat cut from his chest. And it's hanging down over coals. He's screaming, God, stop, please. It's dark. And then
it's super dark.
We cut back to Eric and the team. And he's like, he stopped screaming. Well, there's nothing anyone can do for him now. Because the only reason you stop screaming is if you couldn't scream anymore, considering what they're doing to that guy.
Yeah.
And so the kid says, Jesus, what must they have done to that poor guy? As he's cradling his head in his hands. And then we cut to later. Eric is taking watch while the rest of the people, the two ladies and the kids, sleep. And as dawn's breaking, he's yawning, and another tribesman is sneaking up on him from behind.
Yeah, this was a brutal page.
Yeah.
That was that panel of Whiskers being, cut open and roasted is it's pretty gruesome.
It's dark. I for one appreciated that Rovin wanted to lean into the codelessness of the mags and was like, is this a 12-year-old boy reading this who convinced his parents to let him buy it? I don't know. Is it a serviceman in Germany on a military base? Maybe. But I want to make stories that have some edge, and I like it.
Yeah, me too. So, okay, next page. And Eric, he catches him. He's like, thought I didn't hear you, huh? You sneaking bastard. And so he starts, crack, crack. He's like, rotten sons of bitches. And then, so he's just taking these guys fucking out. He's like, rotten sons of bitches. Every last one of you. And then, so he's doing some crazy moves here. That is, I mean, I know judo's a defensive thing, but I mean, I think he's using it, and I think he's using some offensive judo. Can we do that? I'm drinking for that.
I did. Happily.
Yeah, but, oh my God, that panel down there of him just with the gun pointing right down in that guy's face. Oh my God, brutal, but awesome. That's a great fucking panel.
Just the wide open eye and a blam just of gore.
Yeah, I know. This is like proto Judge Dredd shit.
Yeah, totally.
You know? Like, yeah, and then final panel, he's like, hey, where's the kid? And he's like, he's gone. So as Eric has done this amazing, like, taking on 3 of these dudes and just brutally killing all of them, but nope, the kid's been taken.
Yeah. So we're on to our last page of this very terse lean story. The wealthy dowager gets up. She's like, they carried him off. We mustn't stay here. They're coming back. She's starting to run away. And he's like, take it easy, you old bitch. What? You're walking. You were faking this sprained ankle. She's like, to preserve my strength. I knew it would be a long journey, and I'm an old woman. And so if you didn't hate her before, now you know that she just made a young black man carry her on his back across the jungle because she was trying to serve herself and her interests. She's absolute garbage. And she says, but we're wasting time. You've got to lead us. Where are you going? As he's like going off after the kid. He's like, keep traveling south. You'll make it out. I'm going after the guy you suckered into carrying you through miles of hot jungle. And then we get the little message part of the story here. He's like, but that's stupid. He's black, the same color as those savages. Right, black, like the color of your heart, whore. So he just tells him, go this way, you'll find civilization eventually. I'm going to fucking do the right thing here. And she's saying, she's still grousing as he's walking off in the jungle to a very dangerous situation. The fool, why? Why is he risking his life for that young black? Calling a man a black, So she's everything you thought she was and worse. And then the younger lady says, probably because he knows the young man would do the same for him. That's why. Kind of the emotional core of this whole story. The kid and Eric were the true people, fully formed people in this thing, right? And then we cut to the kid, and he is strung up. They're, sticking a hot spear into his chest or something. It says, meanwhile, some distance away, the life of a black youth ebbs slowly away until the sound of gunfire causes him to lift his head. And we see Eric storming in with a machete and his gun. Bang, 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 swiping, slashing. Arrows are flying, hitting him. Says, and witness a foolhardy friend, teeth clenched in hate and gun blazing, walking to his doom. Though they would both die, death for that black youth loses its sting. So we have a grim story here. We know no one walks out of this thing alive. Maybe the women do, but Eric knew that he wasn't going to make it out alive, but he knew he had to try. And he put his life forward like that for the kid because the kid did it for someone else, and he knows that the kid would do it for him. And so that is the true circle of life in a survival horror, is you would come for me in the same situation, so I'm coming for you, even if it's a suicide mission.
Yeah, shockingly moving at the end. And it's moving because of 2 panels that tell you what happened and tell you everything you need to know. And so, it's really, really, really great little story.
Yeah, I was impressed by how hard-boiled and cynical and oddly touching at the same time that it is. So that was why I chose that one. Yeah. So then we have, Cro-Mag the Killer was, I believe, their answer to Khazar, right? Or Tarzan or something. They didn't need a sword and sorcery character. They already had Ironjaw. So, and Wolf, the barbarian. So this isn't filling a Conan hole or a Cole hole. This is a Tarzan hole or something. Jacob, I was looking up Khazar, maybe that's what they're referencing here more than Tarzan per se. I don't know, because I don't really know Khazar that much. I was not aware that the Khazar that most of us know is the second Khazar, and that there was a Golden Age Kazar that was in a pulp magazine that Martin Goodman published a comics version of in Marvel Comics #1. And he published the pulp one. That was news to me until today.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had forgotten. So I mean, but the Golden Age Kazar, I think he just shows up in that issue, if I'm correct. No way. He's in the first couple ones. I think that's a continuing one. But then it falls away and it comes back like, I don't know, 30 years later.
Yeah, he was in Marvel Comics #1 and then in like 3 issues like in the following year or two. And that was it. So the one that most of us know is the second Kazar. But I just thought that was interesting that, the first one appeared in 1936. It was from Manvis Publishing, which was owned by Martin Goodman. And then he appeared in Marvel Comics #1, as we were saying. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. And I've had this theory, I think you're on board, that a large part of this line, I think that Rovin said, let's have a line, let's roll out 6 books. Maybe the following year, if that's doing well, we'll do 6 more books. Martin was the one, we believe, who said, no, we're putting out 36 titles. We're going to flood the stands. We're going to kill these fuckers. Right? And I think that I think you believe also that some of these were him saying, like sitting back like that financier in Ed Wood saying there's going to be a big explosion. I want police action. Everybody wants to read police action, even if it's 1975. I need, and just listing these things. We got to have a Jungle Man book. So I think Cro-Mag, I just said Kazar. I think Cro-Mag the Killer is Martin Goodman saying we have to have a Tarzan or a Kazar.
Yeah, well, I fully agree. I was also a little shocked at how little I cared about the story.
God, it's so frustrating. So this is by Jack Sparling and Gabe Levy. We've kind of been enjoying Gabe Levy's writing. He's jumped in on issues 2 or 3. He doesn't have much of a bibliography in the field, but he's all right. And it was cool that Jack
Sparling's great.
Yeah. Jack Sparling's amazing, and it's cool that Jack Sparling maybe came up with this character and plotted this story out, or the idea for a few installments of the story, and Gabe Levy came in and actually wrote the proper script. Jacob, I wanted to like this a lot, and I just did not respond to it. We have sexy cave women. We have fighting a woolly mammoth, and they fight. He fights a python. We have naked women with their breasts covered by their hair eating freshly roasted mammoth. Like, this should be exciting.
How is this not? Yeah. How are we not loving this? This is checking so many boxes.
Yeah, but I did not connect with it at all.
Nope, I didn't like it in the slightest. So I was perplexed by that.
Yeah, this should be something that I wouldn't have liked as a kid, but I would like as an adult, because I've gotten into stuff like this as an adult, but I did not respond to it at all. The art's pretty. The other weird thing is there's, like I said, he fights pythons and saber-toothed tigers and mammoths. That's all real. But then they fight a dinosaur. Like, why would you just go and ruin the one thing you had going for it, which is like, this could actually happen by putting dinosaurs into human times?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's not a good story. So yeah, very forgettable one there.
Yeah, I will say I enjoyed the second installment much more, but this first one I thought was not memorable at all.
Yeah, the second installment was slightly better for me.
Yeah. And then we have this installment, which I thought was a very weird choice. Jeff Rovin wrote it, and Frank Thorne did the art for it. They wanted to serialize the story of the actual character of Lawrence of Arabia.
What a weird fucking choice.
Isn't that strange?
Frank Thorne is an incredible artist. We last saw him on the covers of the 3rd issues of Police Action and Phoenix. We've seen him before. He's an amazing artist, and this is amazing art. I don't know about you, Matt, but I could give 2 shits about Lawrence of Arabia.
So I feel conflicted.
Okay.
I like Lawrence of Arabia. I think the story is interesting. However, I made this vow to myself as a kid. There were certain movies I was only going to see on the big screen. I didn't want to see certain movies on the small screen. So I didn't see a lot of stuff until I was older, like 2001 and Lawrence of Arabia and a couple other films where I was like, I'm saving myself. So I didn't see those until I was an adult. So Lawrence of Arabia I saw on 70 millimeter maybe 7 years ago for the first time. And that guy ripped off Dune a lot, by the way. So just
seriously. Right?
No, I honestly sat in the audience like, this is fucking gorgeous. This is amazing. And Jesus, Frank Herbert just stole all this. But that aside, I love the film. I think the story is fascinating and interesting. Like you say, it's a weird choice though. Like, let's serialize this real life guy who helped. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I actually enjoyed it, and I would have been down for more. We meet him. The art's gorgeous from Sparling. There is the whole kind of white savior kind of thing going on here, which I think is part of the reason why Westerners like it so much. An archaeologist from Oxford going in and helping to fight against enemies in the East. So it's interesting. He's definitely been lionized through retelling. I don't know how much of the film version is true or historically accurate, but it's a cool story. But so I enjoyed it, and it's very much just we meet an American or a European reporter who's there. He gets an audience with the prince, and they're just talking about Lawrence of Arabia. So you got to meet him through this flashback of like how he started fighting with these freedom fighters. And that's it. It's a really short entry with promise of more to come. However, Martin Goodman told Jeff Rovin, we're done with that. I just pulled up this thing from Comic Book Artist number 16. CBA said, but no second part to Lawrence of Arabia by you and Frank Thorne, unfortunately. This is when they're talking about how this magazine we're talking about, this episode, was one of the better things they actually put out quality-wise. And Jeff says, well, Martin made me stop that one immediately because he was a big supporter of Israel, and so he felt this was somehow promoting a kind of pan-Arabism, and I was just trying to tell a kind of historical adventure story. And maybe I was naive about that. Being Jewish, I probably should have been more sensitive to his concerns, but again, I just could not believe he came down on me for that one. And that one he really yelled about. By the way, I think that second issue may have contained an editorial. Oh, we'll talk about this at the end. This editorial from there. But yeah, so this was a great art by Thorne. Interesting setup for me, in my opinion, from Rovin, and Goodman said, we're not doing that. And I guess just the climate in the 70s with Israel and stuff was a lot hotter too, right? Like the political climate.
Definitely. Yeah. Yes, which makes sense. But I don't know. I've never connected with the Lawrence of Arabia thing. I've seen the movie. I didn't see it in 70 millimeter. I know the stories. I don't know. I don't have any like philosophical or moral like stance to take against it, even though there's a lot of problematic things with Lawrence of Arabia. It's just never interested me or grabbed me as a story. So maybe that's a failing on my part.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think it's the cinematography of the film's beautiful and the story's interesting, but I totally get not like being enraptured by it. And it does feel like a strange choice, but I get what Rovin, why he picked it, I think. Just because it is this classic film and the cinematography is mind-blowingly gorgeous. So if you're doing like an adventure magazine and you're trying to find a recurring serialized story, I can kind of see picking this one, I guess.
Yeah, but do you think Rovin was going like, well, this is the prestige part of this magazine. Yes. Like this isn't the pulps.
100%. Like
this is real art here.
Yeah, this isn't a used car salesman being eaten by African savages. This is is the prestige part you're saying. This is the part you can brag about at a cocktail party.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, we need to talk about the supplemental stuff in here. It's pretty bad, and they've chosen like the worst photos they could possibly choose in each one of those. What was the one before this? It wasn't
the films of Alistair MacLean.
Films of Alistair MacLean, yeah. And then there's this really long Doc Savage. Yeah, I know that one isn't as long.
The MacLean one is long. So the
MacLean one is super long. This is just like, and you and I have talked about this before. This is pre-internet. We'd see this in magazines where they basically just like, okay, here's this movie. Yep. Let me tell you the plot. I'm just going to summarize this movie for you. Isn't that fucking awesome?
Yeah.
And we were just like, yeah, I guess if you, lived in some hick town without a good theater, I'm raising my hand because that's me. But, there's no one to, talk to about it. And so you get your horror mag and you're like, oh, it was just like I was there.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Like, this is a time where there would be like the Frankenstein films of Hammer. And it would be a 12-page thing with publicity stills and someone describing the plot of all 7 Frankenstein movies or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and that was an invaluable resource to you in 1974. So
yeah, it's not denigrating it at all. Like, this was, if you were a horror movie fan and you could not see all of these Hammer films, you were just like, fuck yes, finally. Like, this is, and you and I mean, back in the pre-internet days, we had archives of stuff. Both of us had the weird small press book of Brian Wilson's Smile that had nothing but just like press clippings. And stuff, just clippings. That's all it is. and we loved that and we cherished that. But that is pre-internet stuff. Yeah, and that's what you did.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't age well, and yeah. So I mean, I almost always skip these supplemental things in these magazines.
Oh, I don't read them at all.
So, yeah, I skimmed like the first 2 pages of the Alistair MacLean stuff. So, folks, he's a Scottish writer who wrote a lot of thriller and adventure and espionage novels that got turned into films. And so Jeff Rovin wrote a whole thing about each of the ones that had been adapted to a film version and reviewed the films themselves. And Guns of the Navarone is probably the most famous of his books that got turned into a movie. The Doc Savage film, it's not even Howard the Duck level of flop because it wasn't even widely seen enough to be that big of a flop. I think it came out and just tanked. Have you ever seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
So I downloaded, it's not a director's cut, but I downloaded like a fan edit where they took like some deleted scenes from a DVD or a Laserdisc and cut some things in, cut some crap out and kind of reorganize it. I still haven't watched it. I downloaded it like 7 years ago. I still haven't watched it. I almost suggested that we watch it just to talk about it here, but I've been too busy. So, yeah, I understand that the film is very okay and that the fan edit that I have makes it slightly less not okay and a little better, but that's about it.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway.
But, all right, so we're to the last story.
Yeah, dog.
This is the one that I chose. This is story and art by Russ Heath. This is Escape from 9 by 1. This is just, I don't know. I mean, I'm such a sucker for Russ Heath. I just think he's an absolute genius, one of the master craftsmen in comics. And I just thought this was great. I mean, this is story-wise, this is something that he would have done in Our Fighting Forces or Our Men at War or any of the, because he wrote, 500 stories with Robert Kanigher. And they were, just a ton of it. And Russ Heath did all these amazing washes. Russ Heath did Sea Devils. Russ Heath did so many things that I and you just absolutely adore. And so, yeah, I was instantly, enraptured with this one. And yeah, so it's basically, So first off, I was just like, okay, where's Russ Heath at right now? Like, this is, what is this? November of 74? Mm-hmm. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, on the stands this month, Russ Heath has a story in Vampire Tales, number 9 over at Curtis, a Sergeant Rock tale in Army at War 277, and he has a reprint in Marvel Chamber of Chills, number 15, which is a reprint book by this point. And it's one of his stories from Menace, number 3. Menace, one of our favorite Atlas era.
Yeah.
The Atlas era horror book.
What was his contribution to Vampire Tales? I don't know if I've read
that
far.
It was something new. I didn't know, but it was something he had. I think it's written by Doug Mensch.
Just a little one and done contribution?
Yeah, just like a 9-page story.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Damn.
It seemed cool. But, Russ Heath in his heyday was as prolific as you can get. But, he's slowing down at this point.
You don't see it here, though. I mean...
No, oh my God, you don't see it here.
I've seen stuff from the mid-'70s from him that looked like it was paycheck stuff. This blew my balls off.
Yeah, it's incredible. And again, I think it's your whole thing that you said is that, this is the golden goose is what this is being sold to guys like Russ Heath.
Yeah.
It's just like, you are going to get paid a fuck ton more than you've ever made on a story. The art, it's yours. You get it for free. And I went and found the art for this whole story sold. It was a Heritage Auctions thing. It sold in 2003 or something. I didn't even want to look for how much because it probably was not that much.
You don't think so?
I don't think in 2003. No, I don't think so. I bet now it'd be $100,000, but I don't know.
When you say like not much in 2003, what are you thinking? Like $6,000 a page?
Not even that. I would guess a couple thousand a page. That's just my guess. I mean, again, but obviously this is priced out of all of our existences. But it was cool to see like just the little thumbnails of the actual art, and so badass. Yeah. I would love any page of this story as the original art. But yeah, just opening up, we have this amazing, just like row of panels of just saying day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And it's him, and he's in the box. He's in this tiny little shed locked in there. And they keep trying to give him food. He's like, take it away. I don't want it. And they're smacking him, saying, you're going to eat it, and shoving like gruel into his face. And he's like, or you will die. And then the main panel, it says, for 6 days, the air has remained stifling inside the coffin, and the food uneaten for the same period. 4 days in the box remain, 10 in all, for refusing to speak, for refusing to divulge more than a simple name, rank, or serial number. And so we see he's in Stalag 9, and it's a hell of an opening page.
The fact that he wrote this and did this amazing art, like this opening sequence here, I was just, I was just blown away. It's like Eisner level, like genius for me of the medium. Like it's divided into 5 days, but it's one action. So it's just like this super brilliant economical way of just saying, every day is the same. We can take 1 day and 5 days, divide it up, and cut them all together, and it's exactly the same experience for this guy. It's just this mind blowing what this guy does. Yeah,
you're right. That's Eisner level type storytelling, and and it just continues through this whole thing.
Yeah, So, I'm still trying to picture this original art framed on my wall, and it's just a little distracting. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay.
You bet.
So and then it continues on the next day. Days, I've mentioned this before. There's a podcast called Each Frame a Painting that analyzes cinematography and how the art of cinematography. Each panel is a painting here. I mean, we're seeing the last of the days of this guy's go in the coffin here for his punishment, and each one is standalone, worthy of being framed and standing by itself. You see the box; it looks like outhouse-sized wooden, mud in the foreground, a silhouette of a soldier just standing there. It's just the isolation, the way he draws it, so small and removed, and then it's in silhouette. It's just this repeated, the monotony of like he's just in there. If you've seen The Great Escape, the Cooler King's just sitting in there bouncing a ball or whatever, like just trying to keep from going fucking crazy and solitary. And then he's released. They tell me he's being uselessly stubborn, the German soldiers. And his job now as punishment after getting out of solitary confinement is disposing of the dead bodies each day. And, they're saying, but since you refuse to eat for 10 days, you probably have nothing to vomit while you do this disgusting, filthy job. Yeah. And then we see at the bottom of the page here, we cut to 2 weeks later. One of the prisoners is saying, the sergeant really has it in for Banowitz. And we see this big bull of a sergeant just kicking this dude in the ribs on the ground. And he says, the guy also says, but don't interfere with him when you're going to be back in the coffin again. Just let it be, don't get involved. So again, this is these stories in here. That's part of why I love this so much is it's so economical. Like, I just feel like these are just being cooked down into a roux. Like this could have been a 22-page story, 18-page story. And they're just so powerful in the way they're using the medium and words to just combine and just tell this super pungent like story. Not pungent in a bad way, in a good way, right? Like Vegemite. Like it's just like so condensed and concentrated. It's awe-inspiring to me.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, Russ Heath did write his own stories before, but, the majority of them were written by other people, specifically Bob Kanigher. But here you can really tell, like, Russ Heath is in charge of every single beat. And that's when you're like, oh, okay, this guy's we'll say it again. He's an equal to Eisner.
Yep.
And this is why. And you see this and you're like, of course, I have no problem saying that.
Yep. 100% agree.
But, yeah. So, yeah, next, Next page, a guy comes down and he's just like, someone's going to kill that SOB one of these days. It's like, are you badly hurt, Banowitz? He's like, no, I'm okay. So he helps him up, and then this guy's talking about saying, you got to escape from here. That sergeant will kill you sooner or later. I've got a plan to get out. He says, I think you should come with me. And he's explaining this plan. He's like, as you know, prisoners who have died are floated out of the camp downstream, half a mile to the burial pits each night. I've been given that job, and I'm to pick another prisoner to help. You'll be it. And so this plan goes, he says, the guards will always shine a spotlight on the bodies as they float under the bridge. But you and I are going to take the place of those bodies. And to be certain the guards believe we're corpses, we are going to float face down. And they'll assume we're dead. And so then he's like, we'll take, short pieces of rubber tubing. Like, he's got this all planned out. He's just like, all right, we're going to take it. That'll be how we breathe. They won't show. It's risky, but what do you say? And he's like, sure, I'm with you all the way.
The art is just staggering.
I know.
And look at this middle row here. Like, look at the panel left, the details of these guys, and look at the shadow on the right panel as he's walking in and explaining this plan. All the blacks. God, it's just, I don't even have words for this.
Yeah, and it's like, Russ Heath, he's we've talked to, so much has been said about his two-tone, his washes and different things, all the covers he would do for our fighting forces or for Sea Devils and stuff like that. But black and white is his fucking medium.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it just levels up more than you can even imagine.
Yeah, it almost feels like it makes people like it's removing like a crutch somehow that people can lean on, and then they unconsciously do because time is only there's only so much time to do something, and so like it feels like when people don't have that color, they feel like they're using all of their senses, right? It's like when you like lose your sight, all of a sudden your hearing gets better, or whatever. Like, I feel like when these guys don't have color, they just go nuts, like they just flourish.
Well, it's more of, it's less of a collaborative art.
True.
This is an auteur moment.
Yeah.
Like, he is in charge of every single thing in this story. No one else.
Yeah. And it's almost got like a black and white cinema kind of feel to it too, like the way that it's being approached without color.
Yeah.
So the next page, there's quite a bit of a talk on that previous page, but that was because they're setting up the escape plan, right? I mean, you have to have all this information. And the other page that has quite a bit of dialogue on it, the rest of it is pretty lean, is here when they're capping off on the plan. He's like, okay, we'll meet before dark in the morgue hut. He's like, all right. So then we find out that what's his name, Banowitz?
Yeah.
We see him meeting with Herr Gruppenführer, best name ever.
Definitely.
And we find out that he's a rat. And he's telling him everything about this plan. He's like, damn, clever plan. Probably would have succeeded, We could kill him, but the prisoners would know we knew about the plan, and that would end your effectiveness as an informant. So they want to keep this rat. So the guy's like, well, what do we do? He's like, well, we must, let the escape attempt happen. And he's like, wait, you want me to go through the plan? He's like, yes, but we need your body to go down face first in the river first, and then we'll shoot the American GI second, and that way we can collect you down at the site, bring you back into camp, and say you were captured. It's a pretty good plan,
It is a good plan. Look at that panel of him lighting the cigarette.
I know, God, that was my favorite one on this page.
Oh my God, the light! He's capturing the light. He's capturing the smoke. The light of the lighter.
Yep.
Reflecting off of the lamp, like it's just like, oh Jesus! I don't think it's just the best there is.
And the light's even playing on Banowitz's face, and he's like 4 feet away. It's so good.
How do you do that? It is. It's just, I don't even understand. But Russ Heath is he is a god.
Yeah, he is.
So all right, yeah. Next page. So yeah, they're continuing. It's just like, okay, you're gonna emerge from the near the burial pits, and then you'll be we'll pick you up and return you as you're recaptured, And so, yeah, all right, go back and before you're missed. He's like, jawohl, Herr Gruppenführer. And
drink for some
so
German.
we go, yeah. Oh, let's drink for some
been a
German. We
while.
haven't done that since Creature Commandos. Let's do that.
Or I guess there was a little in Savage Combat Tales.
Oh, that's true. Yep. Okay, so he goes back, and our hero's there. He's like, "All right, Banowitz, it'll be dark in a half hour, and we're gonna be out of here." Banowitz is like, "I can't wait to get home to the States." He's like, "Where are you from?" Banowitz says, "Bleecker Street in McDougal." He's like, "Oh, Greenwich Village." He's like, "No, New York City."
I love that moment.
Oh, but the moment that panel of him figuring it out, that expression just blew my mind apart. Like, you just knew everything that was going through his head in that expression.
Oh yeah, this row rules.
And it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And also, how weird that his backstory is he's from Bleecker Street in McDougal, but doesn't know what Greenwich Village is. Someone gave him a bad backup story.
Well, I mean, right? Yeah, they just told him, like, you're an American, you're blah, blah, you're from Bleecker Street, McDougal, in New York City. He's like, I got it all. I memorized all these little facts about myself. Who won the World Series in 1940, 41? All this shit. And he doesn't know the fucking filler details, the things only an American would know. Bleecker and McDougal is in Greenwich Village. Like, God, it's so good.
I know. I just fucking love it. And so, so we get to the bottom. It's just like, okay, grab a body, drag it out into the stream bank. I'm going to go first. So if anything goes wrong, you have a chance to swim back. He's like, no, no. There's too much danger. I'll go first. No. I got it. Then he's like, why are you so eager to go first? Could it be you're holding something out on me? And so, and also his stoic expression at the end of there. Heath could have had him just like spitting fury, but he doesn't. He is stoic, and he's just like, no. He knows exactly what's going on. And he's doing it to fuck with Banowitz a little bit too, which is good.
Yeah. And Banowitz's expression to realizing there might have been a flaw in there's a fly in the wine right now. He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he knows.
I love that expression on his face. Yeah, and I love the American too, the Amerikaner. Like, he looks like Bruce Campbell or something like that. Just like such a fucking rad profile in the shadows on his face. God.
I know.
Okay, so this is probably, if I had to buy a page, this is probably the one I would buy.
It's either this one or the one after for me.
Yep, same. So he's like, such as the fact that you're not from New York City, because Greenwich Village is a part of New York City. And Banner's like, oh, fuck. And he tackles him, and look at that upper right panel, the dead corpse's feet wrapped. They don't have shoes on, so their feet were wrapped with rags. And there's just bodies piled around, and the light swinging fucking hither and thither and yawn as his brawl is breaking out. In the next panel, it's just wordless. Look at the colors and the washes and the composition. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I don't know. It fucking almost makes me cry. Yeah. It's so beautiful. Like, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, just like you are. I can't believe it.
I just hung on this page for a long fucking time, and this gorgeous bottom left panel, one of the sheets from the corpses fell on top of them, so now they're wrestling with a sheet on them, and there's the body that it came from, just slack-jawed, open mouth, dead eyes staring up at the ceiling, emaciated from being starved in this camp. God, all the detail. And so then we cut to, fade to black. Then it says after dark. Here they come. The Americanos in for a surprise. I love that, by the way, that the dude holds all of his cigarettes like the classic World War II German, they hold them like they're a fancy slice of pizza. Yes, this is a cigarette filter thing. That made me so happy.
Oh, that's shorthand right there. Yeah. You know what he's all about. Oh, I know. This page, I didn't even know what to say. Like you, I just I'm just without words for how beautiful this is. And same with this next page. Fuck, like just okay. So the vantage point of every one of these panels is mind blowing. Okay, so they're floating down. It says soon the Amerikaner will also be a floating corpse. We are at the bottom of the river, looking up at the two men floating, and past them we see the silhouettes of the two Germans on the bridge.
Inspired.
I don't understand how someone can do this. like, and just do it so goddamn well. Every single panel of this, but that one particular just kind of, again, it almost brings a tear to my eye. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
And the second one, he's like, okay, the first one's our man. There he goes. They're like, ready, fire. And then, but I love that one of just their silhouettes, and you see the bodies kind of floating out as they're saying ready. And then, at that bottom, you just see them, just shooting at the bodies in there. And again, beautiful. So the kind of like the scratchiness coming out from the floodlight that is going, I really loved that. And I loved it. And it made me think, it reminded me of Eddie Campbell's art in From Hell.
Ooh.
And it made me just kind of do a little bit of backtracking and being like, I can see some of Heath's techniques being an influence on Eddie Campbell, even though Eddie Campbell's is very rough.
Yeah.
His style is very rough and scratchy, but I can see a little bit of that. I was starting to make connections.
Yeah. I now that you're saying it, I never would have made that connection on my own, but now that you've pointed it out, I can definitely see it. Similarities.
Yeah.
In the approach.
Yeah.
Not the approach, like the inspiration. The execution is very different.
Yeah, execution's very different. But just kind of the way, because, From Hell is black and white, and From Hell is dealing with light. Like, so much of it is dealing with light. And so the way that Campbell shows light reminded me a lot of this. Yeah.
Last page?
Yeah.
So, we see the German soldiers continuing to brada. The Amerikaner is kaput. We'll drag the corpse out downstream from the burial pits at sunrise. So smoke is coming out of the barrel of the rifle. There's some silhouette. God damn. And the next morning, they pull the body out. Mein Gott, it's Banowitz, dressed in the Amerikaner's clothes. And he's been just shot to shit. He's just full of holes. And then he says, then we see the realization on the commander's face, like, then the Amerikaner knew. He's so sad. And then it says, and then 20 miles away, near the safety of a friendly border, no one observes a figure moving silently through the drifting morning mists. The end. And it's just these watercolor hints of his silhouette just running off to freedom through some fields in the morning mist. God damn.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, all of his choices in this are unbelievable. I feel like this is some of the best art we've talked about on the show.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many episodes.
Well, we're approaching 200, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it doesn't get much better than this.
It does not. Yeah. So, shall we do our shout outs?
Yeah, let's do it. Yes. All right. So it's time for our shout outs. So we have a Patreon. We have lots of members who have been very supportive to us, and there are lots of levels of membership, tiers of membership that you can get. The most popular is Pack member, and that's at $5 a month. And you get a bonus show. You get access to a lot of different extra stuff that we have done on the Patreon over the years. Audio dramas, stuff about our lives, reviews about comics, reviews about movies. There's how many bonus shows do we have?
118, right, my friend.
118. So that is an immense amount of content to go back and enjoy if you would like to become a patron. And so one thing that we do for our pack members and the level right above that is we do shout outs. So we do verbal shout outs on the main show, and this is where we do that. So these are fine folks, pack members, like Ben Potter,
Blake, last name withheld,
Brad Elmore,
Brian Steed,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Caleb,
Dave Kennedy,
David D,
David Goodwin,
Glenn Lash,
Grace,
James Shagus,
Jared from Swords and Scrolls podcast,
Jason W,
Jeff Fitzpatrick,
Jerry from Buffalo,
Justin the Owl,
Kyle from the Heartland,
Matt Harvey,
Melissa Watts,
Michelle from Moonlit Comics,
Mighty Morphin Blue,
Pat Svek,
Rob from Marvel by the Month,
Russ from Tomes of Evil,
Sha David,
Tony Iupi,
Tim Tucker,
And Worm Drive Pro. Thank you so much to the pack members.
Yes. Thank you so much for that support. There is a tier above that, though. But before we jump up to that, I just want to mention, Jacob, I'm excited that Justin the Owl, one of our pack members, is starting a Shadow podcast about the pulp hero, the Shadow.
Right.
And he's asked us to be on. And when we get back into the swing of things next month, we're going to reach out to Justin and say we would love to take that invitation. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grew up on the Shadow as a kid, cassette recordings of the old radio show. So I have so much to say. And he's a hero, an anti-hero, vigilante, what do you want to call him? Near and dear to my heart. So check out Justin the Owl's Shadow podcast once that launches. We'll let you know here. So there is that other tier, though. And that tier is called the Star Gods. And these celestial barbarian space deities get even more content exclusive to that tier. I try every quarter, every 3 months or so, to make something that's just for them as a thank you for their support. I think the last thing we did was a Diabolic thing that was just for them, where I translated an Italian Fumetti Neri, an Italian comic, into English, and then I added some cool Italian, like 60s spy movie music to it. We're due for another thing like that. I do have something in mind, Jacob, I want to talk to you about that is Atlas-Seaboard specific. That's there's an interesting side gig that went on with this whole venture. This 1 year this company was in business that we haven't talked about much yet. I think we should just do a side thing just for Star Gods to kind of share that out. Cool. So we'll talk about that soon. But another benefit you get is once you're a Star God for 6 months, you reach out to us and say, hey, I've been a Star God for 6 months. You can go to our Threadless shop and pick out a t-shirt, a travel cup, or a coffee mug with a design from our shop on it, and we'll send it right to your door. That's right. You get a gift branded with B.A.M logo stuff on it, right for you. So the hallowed ranks of Star Gods include fine folks like Ben M,
Bill Estbach,
Brink,
Eric Hadley,
Jason Finestone,
Jesse McFerrin,
John Walsh,
Josh Link,
MJ,
Mark Nivens,
Michael Giacchino,
Ryan from Across the Bifrost, a Mighty Thor podcast,
and Jackson T. Overstreet, our Uber patron, who has been consistently spoiling us and supporting us and hooking us up with physical copies of amazing things. Thank you, Jackson.
Yeah. Loved having physical copies of these Seaboard magazines. Goddamn, nothing compares to a physical copy of that Russ Heath story.
Goddamn right. And I mentioned this at the top of the show, but these are not on archive. We do have them on a Google Drive, though. So if you've been following along, you're like, I'd love to see this myself. Again, leave a comment, email us at bronzeagemonsters@gmail.com, somewhere on our socials. We can hook you up with a PDF. Okay? I want to share the joy there. Okay, so there was no letters column. I didn't mention at the top, Jacob, but this one actually came out biannually. So the next one came out, I think, in May or something like that. So it would have been, which makes sense to me because these stories, you have top-notch artists doing this amazing stuff, and it was 64 pages, I think, including their terrible text filler. So
this came out in August of 75.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Cover the stand date. So the stand date for one was November, and the stand date of the other one was, like, I think May.
Yeah.
So, but no letters, which bums me out because they had the time. I think the bottom line is probably no distribution, which is a recurring theme, right, with these guys.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So we don't have that, but we do have the rest of the story. And so ignore this, Jacob. So issue 2 was the one that I feel like in that comic book artist number 16, the one where they really said, like, this was the pinnacle of what we put out. Of the things we published in the 1 year of Atlas existing, this is the best thing we did. And I have to say, I agree 100%.
I 100% agree. Barring that Russ Heath story, which is in a league of its own.
Right.
Let me just say the artists that are in this.
Yeah, read the artist list.
Okay.
Bonkers.
Walt Simonson, Jack Sparling, Russ Heath, John Severin, Alex Toth.
Yeah.
The first story is this samurai story.
Oh, my God.
Written by Archie Goodwin with art by a younger Walt Simonson. So, I think he's just coming off of his Manhunter, kind of critical darling and stuff like that. Like he's not done a whole lot of stuff, but fuck, it's so beautiful. Every story in this is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I opened the issue and read it today. And that first one, like the Temple of the Spider, or whatever it's called. And I was like, okay, so it's Goodwin and it's Simonson. It's going to be good, but, it's going to be racist and corny and old, whatever. By the second page, I was like just completely sucked into it. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not just, lone wolf and cub. It's just it's fantasy, it's horror, it's just like this
cynical
whole thing. It's morality, it's cynical. It's just like, fuck, it's so good. It's so good.
It felt like a segment you'd expect from like Qui-Gon or whatever. Like it feels like something that would be in an anthology of like from some 60s Japanese film or something. That
is a perfect comparison. I hadn't even thought of that, but this should be like a lost chapter of Qui-Gon.
Yep. Yeah, it was amazing. We haven't really met Severin much in this podcast, I don't think, but man, I mean, Severin's just one of those guys you put up there with Kirby or whoever, like just he gets prattled off in lists, and sometimes I forget like how fucking good he is until I actually sit down and pull open something like he contributed a few things to Monsters Attack, which was published by Cracked Magazine in the early 90s. I've mentioned before, we did some stuff on the bonus show about, I was obsessed with this magazine. It existed for 6 issues. It was a horror comics magazine that was published by Cracked. And he did the cover for the first issue and a couple stories. And that guy, every time I see him, like that Russ Heath story, it just peels my fucking head back, like how good he is. I don't know how to describe him to people. He's so good.
No, I don't. I mean, I think that between him and Graham Ingalls, like he's the heart and soul. He is EC Comics.
Yep. Yeah.
Like and John Severin specifically for the Two-Fisted Tale stuff they did. But Severin did everything, and everything that he did was pure art.
And he did a ton of stuff for Cracked outside of Monsters Attack also. Like I mean, that guy worked his ass off, and everything he did was gold, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny, we end up talking about his sister a lot more.
Yeah, we do.
Just because we run across her in our show and just stuff that we've done. And Marie is no slouch herself. Marie is incredible. But yeah, you forget. She's just like, I had this older brother, John. He was all right. Yeah.
So that was amazing. Again, I preferred the second version, installment of the Cro-Mags story more than you did, but it was cool. Child in peril. You get some big beasts battling, some prehistoric beasts going on, and I could actually see like, okay, I can see this being a serialized. If this is 6 pages, every issue of this magazine, this might have actually gelled and been something a little better. That first one just felt like a National Geographic episode. There's a narrator just saying like, then they leave the volcano and they go to this place and then they battle a snake, a very dangerous threat. Like it was just like, it didn't work for me. But this one worked more. It had more storytelling. I felt like Gabe Levy, I think, wrote this one. And it felt like it stood a little stronger as a story. What else do we need to talk about? The Toth? I mean, God, who wrote that Toth story? Was that Ric Meyers?
I thought it was Ric Meyers. Let me look. I'm very happy I get to look at a physical copy.
Yeah, mine's in the other room. There's a sci.
Yeah, it's Richard Meyers that does that the Toth does. Oh fuck,
dude. So there's a story set in, I think it's like set in like 1990.
New York City, 1990.
But now it would be 2049, right? But it's
job well done.
I mean, we just gush about Toth on this show, rightfully so. But I wonder if there are a lot of people who listen who are those people who said I didn't check out old comics till I listened to you guys talk about Werewolf. Like maybe don't know Toth, but I mean you know Toth even if you don't, if you've seen Space Ghost or if you've seen a lot of like Hanna-Barbera superhero designs, but his just work when he just is going out on something like this, I have such a hard time describing him because he's so good, he's so iconic. His style.
I think Toth is one of those artists. I think he's ineffable. I don't think you can actually describe what he does properly.
No,
I don't think you can. I challenge anyone to do it. Honestly, you can't compare him to anyone. You honestly can't describe what it looks like.
if I had to, gun to my head, I would say if you put Steve Ditko, Wally Wood, and Al Williamson in a blender, you would get something in the neighborhood of Toth. But even there, he's more singular than that.
He is, but that's close. That's in the ballpark. I think that's a pretty reasonable comparison there.
So yeah, that story is a cool little thing about this cop who basically has to deal with drug dealers, and we've gone past pot, we've gone past LSD and heroin. People are now taking arsenic pills, and he works that beat. And it's a nice little hard-boiled, just dark-ass story. One thing we didn't mention was Jeff Rovin's uncle, who was a cop, sent in an actual story called Robbery about this, like his frustration with the Justice Department, just the wheels of justice in our society, and how this guy got attacked and robbed at knife point by this other guy. Everyone knew who it was, and just darn it, you just can't go the right proper channels, like very weird. That his uncle just said, please print this letter. Like, this is important to me. And he did. Interesting. It fits in Thrilling Adventures, I guess, / Screed in the opinion column. It
does. And can I just show the thing that I loved about issue 2? And I mean, it's hard to argue, even though it's the hyperbole. The world's most exciting magazine.
Great Neil Adams cover on it, by the way.
I know. Fuck, so cool.
Yeah, I think I'm missing something. There was also a good cop story in there too about retired
Russ Heath.
That was the Russ Heath story.
Does
God, that was so good
the other
too.
Cop story, which is all so good. And but there's also a long towering inferno thing.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Yeah, that one seems weird to me because that was a contemporary. Like that seems like padding right? to me. When it's
a little bit, because it's not like it's not a obscure horror movie.
Yeah, it's not.
It was probably it's the most popular film of the year. It's probably showing in every single city in every single state.
Exactly,
that had a movie theater.
Exactly,
so it's not. Yeah,
it's not like, hey, if you haven't had a chance to see African Queen, here's what happens in African Queen. Like like a blow by blow. Like I get that.
Yeah,
this is like you could literally walk 5 blocks in any town and see this movie like right now when this was published.
Yeah.
So I love the second issue more than the first.
Agreed.
So yeah, let's do final thoughts then. You want me to go?
Yeah, you go first.
So this again, I've been primed for liking this since we started reading the comic book artist stuff to prep for this season, and I knew that this was something that Jeff Rovin put his heart and soul into. He was super proud of, and other people, contemporaries in the company, and people who write about the comics industry all said, this is the top shelf stuff. This is the stuff that people should remember. I wish I had more eyes on it. So I was prepared to be blown away by it, and I was still surprised by how much I was impressed by it. I was absolutely shocked. The writing is terse, to the point, lean and mean, and it gets the stuff across. I love that. I think in issue 2 is where like there's like ass, and somebody calls like there's like a little more swearing, a little more violence. So I love that they ramped it up just a tiny bit, and it's just a little more mature. But the long story short, the art turned in for these 2 issues was museum worthy fucking masterpiece work from everyone involved. I don't think anything I saw in these 2 issues was anything less than spectacular. And so solid stories, mind-blowingly gorgeous art. I wish this had gone on. I wish Atlas fucking ate shit and burned and crashed. Okay, fine. I wish Seaboard periodicals had kept going. I forgot what happened. I think Chip Goodman fucked up, or Chip Goodman just said, let's just sell the porn mags or whatever. There's some story about why, but they should have kept publishing these and competing with Curtis and whoever else was doing anything similar to this at the time, in my opinion, because this is top shelf stuff, and it's fucking a tragedy that this is not like comes up commonly when we talk to anybody who likes this era of comics. Can't recommend it enough.
Man, I couldn't agree more. And you're right. Like this is diamond, and this is buried treasure. Like this is something that should be. And I started thinking more about just like the title and the theme of this magazine, just thrilling adventure stories. Like, it has such a pulp sound to it, but it really could have been its own thing. I mean, it's a little different than all the other black and white magazines that are out there at this point.
Yep.
I can't think of an analog for this.
That's why I'm surprised it didn't. If they'd had distribution, if this had been in literally every drugstore in this country, this would have gone on for 5 to 10 years, in my opinion.
I fully agree. I think thrilling adventure stories can hold its own against any Warren, any Skywald, any Curtis magazine. I think it can probably blow most of them out of the water.
That's a bold statement, and you are 100% right.
I just think it could have. And I think these two issues, can stand up to anything those companies put out.
Yep.
And I think thinking of number 2, like, what if they just kept going?
Yeah.
Like, what if issue 2 is just like, fuck yes, now we know what we're going to do. And this is the true tragedy of Atlas-Seaboard.
Yep.
Because this is something that should have gone on for years, like you said, and everyone should know about this.
Yep.
These should be legendary issues, and they're not. And that is really strange, and it's a real shame.
Yeah, we should have a hardcover collection of this thick on all of our comic shelves right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I took these, I liked just taking these issues with me to work and like reading them on my break, or reading them. Like, it's so funny. Like, every other Sunday, when I work at the library every other Sunday, and we open at like 1. And so in the mornings, I like sit in the library alley, like in our steps, and I smoke my pipe and I read black and white comic magazines. And I just felt so at peace, just smoking my pipe, reading thrilling adventure stories. I was just like, I've never felt so at home and like I was in the right place when just doing these two things, and just sitting on a stoop reading this magazine felt just fucking awesome.
Yep.
And so, and again, I mean, we can't thank it's all amazing. Everything Jackson does for us, amazing. Having physical copies of these 2 issues, these are the gems of my collection now.
Oh yeah. These are getting cremated with me.
Yeah, well, and I'm holding them up and flopping them around because we're not fucking sealing these in lucite. I'm gonna read these till they probably wear out.
Yeah.
So no, this was you're right. I mean, I was preparing myself too. We all knew this. We all knew that this was the shit that they were just like, no, this was real. Mm-hmm. And it was. But yeah, I wasn't prepared for how good it was. This was a joy to read and to talk about.
And like any work of art that's particularly effective, to me, it's been living with me. Like I've read them twice, and I've been walking around. I think about them when I'm like walking the dog, when I'm like doing this and that. Like I'm thinking about the art, I'm thinking about the story, I'm thinking about how effective the storytelling was. Like that's the mark of a great piece of art. So yeah, the true tragedy is that no one read it, and it didn't have more. So.
Yeah, well, I feel very lucky that we got the chance to read these in hard copy, and that we got the chance to sit and talk about it and really take it seriously and give it a serious look, which I don't think anyone has done. I think we're the first.
I think it's a very small number of people who have given this its due. Hopefully people are inspired. We are backers of archive.org now. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, we can support the wonderful work they do. There's a bunch of Atlas-Seaboard comics up there. No Seaboard magazines, though, as I mentioned, I think at the top of the show. I might upload these PDFs and actually be a contributor to Archive for the first time and see what happens. It breaks my heart that there's not more eyes on these. It's a sin. I don't believe in sins, but that's a sin.
It is. I mean, everyone should get the chance to read this.
Yeah. I'm going to try and add those up. But again, as I mentioned several times now, the third time, if you're dying for these right now, hit us up, email us. I will shoot you a PDF link. You can safely download it and check it out. It's worth your time. It's worth your attention. It will not disappoint. We can guarantee you that. That's the B.A.M. seal of the B.A.M. guarantee.
That's the B.A.M. guarantee.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I think at the top there, we're taking a little bit of a break. So I am going on vacation. Jacob is very busy in his job at the library with the summer reading program. So we're just going to put a pause on this halfway through the season, come back in about 4 weeks, unless you're a Patreon backer. You're going to get something sooner. But Shadow Show. But then we're going to come back with Vicky. And as I mentioned before, that was, I think her name was Tippy Teen when this was originally published. 1967. They just scooped this up, changed some names, but it's very 1966, 1967 when you see it. And hopefully we'll be coming back with some teenagers reading through these terrible, corny, old, tired joke as a power record kind of drama and just have some fun with it. And then Jacob and I will just talk about our relationship with these in general. It's funny, Jacob, I talk about how Archie's just kind of like, to me, it's just like a staple that you keep around, right? And I took Athena and her friends camping up in the woods, and I had a bin of plates and spatulas and just random pots and pans and whatever and pepper. I was just digging at the bottom. Archie fucking Double Digest at the bottom of the bin. was cleaning out Renee's car, and I have Double Digest just stuck from when Athena was little, just like in the back pouches behind both of our seats. There's just Double Digest. To me, it's just something that it's like salt. Like you just need it to give life a little flavor. So I don't think about it day to day, but yeah, Archie and just this, whatever this entertainment medium is to me is very valuable and is obviously it's omnipresent in my life because it's just everywhere. So
and it's still omnipresent. Go to a fucking grocery checkout stand; they're still there.
Yeah,
how awesome is that?
I'm hoping that if I can,
how crazy is that?
It is bonkers, and I've mentioned this before. I think way back, a few seasons back. But I remember hearing some interviews with some creators who work for Marvel on big stuff, and they're names if you read Marvel or DC, and they're yeah, and I also do stuff for Archie, and I was just wait, what? And I did looked up stuff there's huge names that work on Archie, and it's just a paycheck to them. But they just do house style, so they turn off their I'm just throwing a name out, Chris Samney or whatever not him, but just people like that. Where it's just I do this thing and I draw this blah blah blah, and then I turn around and get my Archie script, look at the house guide, the house Bible. Okay, there's Jughead. There's and there's people who work on this stuff where you would be surprised. It's holy shit, that's so and so, that's her, that's him. It is. These big names work on these books, but they don't have credits much. You have to dig to find them. It's bonkers. And I love that it's still around. Yeah, me too. And my hope is that for that episode that we can actually convince those kids to do at least a voice, if not maybe an on-camera interview. I don't know. They're not all 18. And to talk about the relationship with comics in general, the medium, the relationship with Archie on similar youth stuff, and I'm assuming they just say Riverdale, right? Doesn't most kids just know Riverdale? Yeah, they just know Riverdale. Yeah. But I want to do just a quick interview with them too, if they do this with me, and just ask them what comics mean to them and what they think of them, and if it's truly just the MCU and DCU now to kids. Yeah. Curious. Cool. So that's going to be coming up next in about a month. But if you do support us on Patreon, you're getting a little something that I'm going to schedule to drop while I'm on vacation, which is Jacob and I talking a little bit about Deathlock the Demolisher and Astonishing Tales number 25. So this is a Rich Buckler joint. And I'm excited to talk with you about it a bit. We're not going to do a super deep dive on it because it's so widely known, and it's we're not bringing a nugget of wisdom here. This isn't some Skywald's deep cut. This is a pretty famous character, but something I wanted to touch on before we retire the show. So we're going to talk about that and maybe just have a little chit chat afterwards on the Shadow Show. So if you want that, you should go to patreon.com/Bronze Age Monsters and back the show at one of the tiers that gets the Shadow Show. And you can get that in a week. Cool. Well, Jacob, you know this, but we're on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And we would love if people left a comment, they liked, subscribed. Again, reach out if you want PDFs of these issues we talked about tonight. I think you should. It will change your life. You're going to have a BC AD kind of thing once you see these PDFs, right? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be first time you use an electric toothbrush or a bidet or something. You're oh my God, how did I live my whole life without this? Yeah. So, So I'm excited for a little vacation. We can talk a little bit about it on the Shadow Show, Jacob, in a minute. But yeah, I'm so glad we I did hem and haw a bit when scheduling the season, like if we should do the magazines or not. And I'm really glad we did. We did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think we would have had an incomplete picture of the venture. And our point here is to kind of be forensic archaeologists and look back at this publishing venture of Martin Goodman and see what happened. And I think it would have been an incomplete picture if we didn't. So I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, for our sanity too.
Yeah.
Like these are kind of like, these are necessary for our mental health and well-being. So
yeah, they're bright spots.
They are.
Cool. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us again. Please like the video and leave a comment about your favorite story or whatever you need to know, what you want us to know. We'd love to hear from you. And share this with a friend that you think would like it. We'd appreciate that. Spread the word. All right. Well, anything else we can say, Jacob?
I don't think so. It's been a blast. It's been a fun episode.
Yeah, I had a blast too. All right. Well, until we see y'all next time, stay bronze, Pony Boy. Stay bronze.